We also have, always get a fright when that happens. We also have the discussion forum. As I said, we're a community of a professional network of data scientists. So we have our discussion forum where you can share lessons learned or ask for advice. You can also see users from across the world and across Africa. So if you want to understand what data science in Nigeria is like, you can reach out to one of our Nigerian participants and get it from them. We also have a learn section. Here we've got interesting blogs from our users from the data science team. We are slowly building that out into a learning journey so that you can learn. The reason Zindi came about is data science in Africa is very new, and there's not many places that you can prove your skill on. There's very few, and Moringa's filling this amazing gap that you can come out of Moringa with a data science qualification that has weight. And on Zindi, we are adding to that weight of that qualification and proving that you can do what you say you can do. Often we see people's GitHub or people's CVs that I've built this recommendation engine. And did you really? On Zindi, you can really show that you really have. I'm very excited to be here. If you have any questions, please post them in the discussion and I will leave my email so you can message me. Thank you, Sasha.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. It's really nice to know that you guys actually pay users to like when they sign up and engage in the competitions. So we've had quite a number of Moringa School graduates participate. They are members of the Zindi Africa community. They've participated in these competitions. They've won quite a number of prizes. So the platform, I definitely advocate for it. The community, I think I'm your number one fan, to be honest. And I'm not a data scientist, but I see the work that you do over at Zindi. So I definitely encourage anyone who wants to get into this career to start at Zindi, to start at Moringa, and you get a lot of support. Yeah. So I'm very much excited to finally get to this segment of our webinar today. So we have our panelists who are data scientists. They have quite a number of years of experience in the field. Some don't even have like an educational, like a primary educational background, right? Which just shows that it doesn't matter which field you're in. It doesn't matter which, undergraduate degree that you took up for you to change your careers. Right now, we have so many, we have a lot of support and resources out there for you to change your career, for you to do what you're actually passionate about. And I know our panelists today will share their experiences. So we'll have Amy Bray from Zindi Africa. She's just introduced herself. Then we're also going to get to hear from Victor Olufemi, who's an ambassador, a Zindi ambassador at in Nigeria, based in Nigeria. He's also a data scientist at Farm2You and a renowned public speaker. And earlier, you got to hear from Veronica, who is a technical mentor and a data scientist. She works here at Moringa, but she also does quite a number of projects and part-time jobs outside Moringa. So without much further ado, I'll just ask our panelists to turn on their videos, and then we can start with the first question, which I'm going to direct to you, Victor, because you've been awfully quiet, and I know people are very eager to hear from you. So, Victor, you're on the spot right now. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can. Okay. So, Victor, please tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background? And for today's webinar, what do you hope that all these people who've joined today will take out at the end of the talk?
Oh, great. Okay, so my name is Olufemi Victor, as Sasha has already introduced. I'm currently still a student at the Obafemi Awolowo University here in Nigeria. And I also worked full-time with a agri-tech startup called Farms to You, where I helped for the past 2 years build data-centric products. And also, I'm privileged to be an ambassador as well at Zindi Africa. And I also, from time to time, focus on building several mini projects, data-centric projects, as I aim to, build my own startup. What I would say are some of the things you would learn from today is some of my experiences. I mean, being as a student, working as, someone that has, worked as a full-time data scientist in some organizations, and, being able to manage my time, being able to manage, my growth, even as a student. I'm sure you gain some of all these experiences and ideas from my discussions today.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. A pleasure to host you here today. Veronica?
Thank you so much. Veronica is my name. And apart from data science, I've also done supply chain. So I'm versed with the supply chain field. And I'm keen to just share my experience with how I transitioned to the field of data science, because I know most people tend to struggle with that, and I'm keen to share with everyone how it's possible. And yeah, I look forward to having many people join the program. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Veronica. And over to you, Amy. Please tell us a little bit more about your background and what you hope people will learn today.
Sure. Hi, Amy from Zindi. My background is I went straight from high school into university, where I completed my degree in physics and maths. I have got 2 years of computer science. I see later on the panelists have a preview of what questions are going to be asked. And there's a question, I think, on, or maybe it's from someone else, but the importance of maths in a data science degree or as a data scientist. And I'm really interested to hear that answer. I am very biased. I think maths is the most important thing in the world. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. It's a Saturday at home. My background, when I stopped doing computer science, because I was very adamant that I would not be a software developer. I would not be sitting behind my computer coding all day with back problems. I did not want to be in this geeky field with smelly boys. That's not what I wanted. And I have found myself in data science, which means I'm sitting behind my computer most of the day, and I do a lot of coding. But I have found the niche, and my niche is more in project management. So I am a project manager and data scientist, and I see that my skills are in project managing and understanding the data science field. Having the experience of data science has really helped me in my project management. I can now assign a task, and I understand that, oh, this task is going to take 2 days, not 2 hours. I have seen some people going, oh, can't you just quickly create this thing? Can you have it for me by tomorrow? I think that's being in the space, being able to be like, no, this quick thing actually takes a week. So yes, there's the thing I'd like you to take away is that there's a spectrum. There is the people who love sitting behind their computer and love coding and love just doing them. And then there's the other side, that where I am, where I love the project management, enjoying people, doing a bit of coding when needed. Yeah. Thank you, Sasha.
Oh, nice. And I can see Victor smiling. I don't know if you're ready. It's like you want to come back at Amy on the issue of maths.
Oh,
Do you
not
agree
at
or
all.
disagree?
Well, not at all. But sure, I'll definitely love to say one or two regards that, probably, when the time comes. But I myself, also, I study electrical electronics engineering. So so I'm basically from a very core engineering background. But I have some insights into some of what Amy is thinking about, and I'm happy to say one or two regards that.
Okay. All right. So I can't wait to hear that banter. So and guys, on the chat box, do you agree or disagree with this ongoing debate? Do you think you need to have a mathematics background for you to get into data science? So let's engage, let's interact. And if you don't, do you actually believe in yourself that without a mathematics background, I can become a data scientist? Let's engage on the chat box. My team is over there. They will be supporting me in the background. So I have a question now to you, Amy. We have these different roles in the data science field that are thrown around. I'm sure people have heard or seen open jobs, something like they're looking for a data engineer, they're looking maybe for a junior data analyst or a data scientist. Yeah. So what's the difference between these three? What's the difference between a data scientist, a data engineer, and a data analyst? Are they different, or they all do the same job?
Good question. No one knows. We often find Cindy has a jobs board where companies come to us saying that they need a data analyst. And we're like, okay, cool. Could you explain to us what the job is? What will this data analyst need to do? And then they say the data analyst needs to maintain the database structures. And we say, okay, maybe you don't need an analyst, maybe you need an engineer. We've also got the problem where companies come saying, we want a data scientist, a junior data scientist. And we provide junior data scientists, and they're hired, and the company's disappointed. And that's because the company didn't understand what they were asking for. These roles, as a data analyst, you need to be able to do a bit of engineering and a bit of data science. As an engineer, you need to do a bit of analysis, a bit of science. But you don't have to do you have to do a little bit of everything. A data analyst, you can think of this more as a business analyst type person. You would mainly be working with inferences from the data, understanding the data. You might need to build a model, but it's not necessary, or it's not your key role. Your key role would be working in the business, finding out, is the company making enough revenue? Where is revenue falling off? How many items is this being sold? As a data scientist, you need to understand a bit about the project, probably the data analyst situation, but you do mainly on the model building. So if we're working with a bank company or an insurance company and we're trying to determine how many clients churn. So churn means you sign up and then you realize you don't need this product anymore, so you leave and you don't come back to the insurance company. A data analyst would analyze the demographics of the users, demographics of the people. when do they leave most often? Oh, they mostly leave in June, July. Where a data scientist would then build a model to predict who would leave. And a data engineer gets to do a bit of both. They get to look after the stack where all the databases are, and then they also help put the data scientist's model into production. It's always useful if a data engineer has a bit of a software background, but again, it's not necessary. I've recently been in a couple of career fairs, and I've been talking to companies that are recruiting, and the most important thing that they look for is a willingness to learn and creativity and ingenuity. Thank you.
Okay, nice. You've actually quoted one of our values here at Moringa, willingness to learn. Yeah, I think it's a very important quality or value for someone to have. So there you have it, guys. There's a difference between these three careers, and sometimes the terms are used interchangeably. So it's very important to know what you want to do and how to get there. Okay, so Victor, you've mentioned that you did electrical engineering, right? So I'm throwing this question both to you and Veronica. You're in electrical engineering. So what inspired you to get into the data science field? How did you switch over?
Okay, well, for me, yeah, basically, I would say it was quite an interesting one. So while I was in school, in the earlier stages of my degree, right, I was introduced to the buzzword going around artificial intelligence was on at the time. I mean, not so long ago, just back in 2018, and I mean, I was so interested, so intrigued in what we can do, as Africans, leveraging artificial intelligence and the likes, right? So I started out, researching how I can, start building AI, how I can go into the AI space, right? And I got to stumbled across, that field called data science, right? And funny enough, there were, and I mean that's one of the things that one must really talk about, right? As an African in data science field, this community, right? So there were communities in school, that were already, into data science. To mention but a few, Data Scientist Network, which was formerly Data Science Nigeria, right? And I was able to join, right? And I began to, understand that, the field, in data science, artificial intelligence, was kind of in a way more related to my field in engineering, right? Because I mean, there were things I could do, because AI can be applied to virtually any field in the world, right? So I mean, there were things I could, relate with to my own field of study, right? In engineering, there were things I could create, leveraging AI, machine learning, and the likes, right? So personally, I mean, I found it very interesting. Then I just decided to, pursue that space.
Nice. And you, Veronica, you've said you have a background in supply chain. So how do we go from supply chain to data scientist?
Okay, so I've just switched off the video so that I don't have issues with the internet connectivity. So for me, it was easy because supply chain was a field that I had learned everything, and I felt I know now everything, and I really needed to do something different that I love, because I have attention to detail. I'm so analytical, and I felt the need to do something that is really analytical, where I can put the skill of attention to detail. And that was no other than data science, yeah. So first I did self-learning, and self-taught is not easy because there is so much information out there, and you don't know where to start from. Today you're learning this, tomorrow you're learning something else, and you find that you're really mixing things up, Yeah, so you would just need a few skills for you to be a data analyst, but you'll find that whatever you're learning is something that a data engineer needs to know, or something that a software engineer needs to know, or something that a machine learning engineer needs to know. And sometimes you'll find most people tend to jump the rope and they go be a data scientist before they do the basics, which is becoming a data analyst. So for me, changing career, it was quite easy because I had to just be committed and put my best foot forward to be able to do the career change. Yes, Sasha.
Okay, awesome. So, a follow-up question, right? So you've mentioned that self-learning is hard, and there is a lot of like commitment and interest that is required of anyone who wants to make this switch. So, starting with you, Veronica, what are those tangible steps that you took, right? After you noticed that self-learning is hard, which platforms were you on? Right? Are there like resources that you could share with people here on how they can start? You know, what are those like 1, 2, 3 steps someone can take to make this switch?
Okay, so the resources are really much available, but again, you have to be careful to know which is correct and which one is not, because you'll find most people share things, and when you continue reading deeper, you'll realize somewhere they went amiss. So I really like that someone referred me to Moringa, and I'm a product of Moringa. I'm proud one for that matter, because the cost is also expensive. Yeah, if you get other institutions, they really charge high price, and at least when I joined Moringa, it was affordable with the scholarship also, and with the products that they have, the content is well structured. So with that, it was easy now to be able to put my skills, the skills I had before joining. So it was at least good to follow through the program, because most people tend to drop, and the reason is lack of commitment and just pushing themselves. But it's good that you have to lean somewhere, you have a backup place, and having or joining a team or a school that will be able to guide you is really better than self-taught, because really self-taught is quite a hassle. Yes, Sasha.
Thank you. And what about you, Victor? Did you go through the a boot camp? Did you go through like, because you've mentioned Data Science Nigeria, I believe that's a community, a really huge data science community there. Did they help you, or you were team self-taught?
Okay, so I would say basically I can count myself as self-taught, and majorly, what I would say my journey or my learning path has been from when I started learning on my own, right, up to the point where I found a community I was able to join. And one of the things that I believe community is very keen on doing is you get guidance, you get mentorship, you get a sense of direction, right? Because I mean, one of the let me say challenges I faced, right, while learning personally, right, on a self-taught basis, was that I kept learning the same things over and over again, right? I mean, I was taking different courses, I mean, online courses that were available, and I wasn't really just growing, right? But being able to get a community, being able to get a focused sense of direction are things that I would say really helped me. And well, for me personally, I would say courses like courses on data camp, right? Courses on Andrew Ng's machine learning courses as well, on Coursera, are some of the things that actually helped me personally while I was growing. And I was also privileged to check out a while back, the book of Moringa School as well, which I found very interesting and I must commend. And lastly, just as I pass the baton, I would say one of the very key or very notable things about my career path or my growth, right, while learning data science was my participation in competitions, right? And I would mention that that was a very key factor for me personally, in growing. And some folks might know me as a professor on Zindi, right? I've won several competitions and also shared a lot of insights and winning solutions on Zindi as well. And yeah, I would say, make sure as you're learning, join a community and, participate in competitions. Yeah, those are two things that I know helped me personally while growing.
Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of engagement on the chat box. So maybe Victor, you can also, maybe at the end, you can just share like those resources and tips that you've just mentioned. And yeah, and you've mentioned something around like participating in competitions, and I can see Emmy is also really commending Moringa graduates. So at Moringa with our programs, right, we offer project-based learning. So you'd find yourself working on projects after each and every like topic that you're learning. If you get to a new topic, there's a project attached to it. And we also encourage our students to join a lot of communities where people are posting hackathon challenges, competitions like Zindi, and just projects that people can get together and work on. You add it to your portfolio. So it's a very important aspect to keep in mind, even as you're planning to get into this field of data science. Yeah, so I just wanted to summarize that. So I think now we've gotten to like I want to bring back the debates that we started with. Yeah. So, Amy, you say that you're pretty biased to like, you feel like mathematics is very important, right? For a data scientist. Why do you say so? And don't you think if someone doesn't have a mathematical background, they can't make it in data science?
So I am going to sound very snobby in that since I was a kid, maths has just made sense to me. I was always top in my class for maths. I never had to study for maths tests. I was just gifted. With English, I'm horrible. Like, I still get confused with punctuation. But with maths, when I look at something, I see the maths in it, or I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Even when I'm doing exercise or going for runs, there is there's a running thing called Christian Bale's or the Batman run, where you have your football field and you sprint along the short side, jog along there, and then jog along the diagonal. With that, I work out what percentage do I need to go, how far am I, what's the area I've covered, and that's just me thinking in maths. And when I was introduced to machine learning, the first thing I did was link it to maths, and that made sense because maths was my safety net. I'm really interested to hear from others who don't have maths as their safety net. I know I'm very lucky that maths makes sense to me. I know many people really struggle with maths. So many of my friends struggle. I still help my friends do their budgeting to help them figure out how much they can spend on groceries, because even that is difficult for them. I think, and I have seen people go far without maths. I think there is some things that you definitely need. You need to know what the mean is, the average, standard deviation. You also need to know a couple of stats terms. What is a bar graph? What is a pie chart? When would you use a pie chart? When would you use a bar graph? So you don't need to go to the level that I went to of, oh, you put the wrong, you were meant to use a dot, but you used a comma. You don't need to know that. So Victor, other people, what do you think? Maths makes sense to me, and it's something that I think everyone needs to fall in love with, but that's not the case.
Well, for me personally, right, I would say, of course, I also love maths, right? I mean, being from a core engineering background, maths is basically what what I eat and drink, right, in my day to day. But what I would say is, starting out your field in data science, I mean, data analytics, probably data engineering as well. When the word math in such fields are mentioned, sometimes the picture that comes to mind is this kind of very advanced, high grade, probably PhD level mathematics, right? And I must confess, these are things that you do not need, right? So from my own experience, from my own perspective, I found that, having an O-level grade mathematical, excellence or maturity level is sufficient, right? I mean, having knowledge of basic statistics, calculus, right? And just, the basic and the fundamental O-level mathematics, right, is sufficient, to take you through your learning journey as a data scientist or as a data engineer or even as a data analyst. And Amy has also mentioned some of our own experiences as well, and saying that, you might not need the level of math that she knows, right? And you can also do well. So yeah, for me, I would say, yeah, you need a basic level of mathematics, right? And that's sufficient for you to go.
Nice. What about you, Veronica? Did you have a mathematical background? Sorry,
I'm quickly going to interrupt.
Yeah,
Sorry, Veronica, before I forget.
Yes, Ami, please proceed. Ami.
Okay, thanks. I just was thinking about our marketing and social media team. These are people that they didn't do proper maths until matric, until their final year. They chose to do the easier maths. And they are now working as a data science social media person they're having to dig into the statistics of how our Facebook posts are doing in comparison to our LinkedIn posts. And they're more up to speed with what's happening in the AI and machine learning world than I am. Just because they're the ones reading all this content to make sure that they can share it with you. So people who didn't even do maths for high school are surviving in this field. I'm sure they can code. They haven't tried, and I wouldn't trust them to code for Zindi, but they're doing their own stats and understanding stuff that I'm not even understanding. So there is hope. Veronica, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ami. And it's interesting that Ami, Olufemi, and also Sasha too, amongst others who haven't had the chance to talk. Like, I do love maths also. It was my best subject. And I that's the reason why I could not just survive in the supply chain field, because you just want to get your hands dirty, yeah? Because for you to be able to get insights from the data, to do the data visualization Ami mentioned, you need to know which graph to plot. You cannot use a pie chart for everything, neither can you use a bar chart or a histogram, just to mention a few. So you need to know which ones am I going to use. And also math comes in handy because you also need to do things like feature engineering for you to be able to do your visualizations well. And I like the comments also on the chat, because people acknowledge the importance of math, yeah, in data analysis and just visualizations, yeah. Fanny says that you don't need much maths, but however, the mathematics background makes it easier, which is true, yeah. And also, yeah, there's also another comment, but I can't see it. But all those comments in the chat, that's right. So it's good to have understand, and even if you don't have the math background, you can learn, yeah, because there's statistics courses there, just for you to be able to have an easy time when doing the data visualization and analysis also. Sasha, back to you.
Okay. Nice. So there you have it, guys. It helps if you have a background or just basic knowledge in mathematics. All right. So I know this is one question everybody has here today. Is data science marketable? Right? Because at the beginning, I remember when Amy was just taking us through about Zindi, how it started and the work that they've done so far, there was a gap because data science is quite new in Africa. So do you guys think data science is marketable here in Africa, outside Africa? And how long? How long will it take me to come from like zero data scientist to super data scientist? I want to throw this to Victor first because his face just looks very ready.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Well, for me, I strongly believe and agree that, data science is a very marketable field, right? And throw back to, some of the research, that Microsoft did back in 2020, right? Estimating that within between 2020 and 2025, there's an estimated about 43 million new jobs, right? That will, that will be made, right, within that space. And regards data, right? And I mean, if you look at, the way the population is growing and the way, the number of jobs are growing, right, you'll find that, there is, at the end of the day, if there is no growth, right, in the data scientists that we're training, there will be a lot of, on fine-grained data, right? That means there's a lot of skills gap, there's a lot of data gap, there's a lot of opportunity, right, that we need people to cover up for, right? So, I mean, in as much as, we keep, growing day to day, right, there are more jobs that are coming out. I mean, 6 years ago, what was data science? I mean, or 7 years ago, right, what was data science? I mean, how many people knew about the data science field, right, several years ago, right? But now we see the span, right, and we see the increase, right, at an exponential rate of the need for data scientists, right? So, I mean, data science, data analytics, data engineering, these are fields that are very prominent. And well, for duration, I would say from my own experience, from my own point of view, I mean, if you have the time to, devote yourself to learning that field, right? I mean, 6 months is enough to do you well. I mean, to get started, to get, supplanted in the field, right? Having, just 6 months focus on data science can get you a very, very good job, right? And if at all you are probably a student and, like myself, right? And you need time to time to, learn, right? Because you are probably filled with a lot of several activities, right? You can also build and take up a calendar. You can take up a self-paced course as well, right? That you can use to build yourself in the field. And one thing I'll just leave out here is that, regards duration, I see it more as something of consistency, right? Rather than speed. Right, so it's a matter of consistency, building yourself gradually and making sure you climb that ladder, at that consistent period. Yeah, so I would just stop there regards that. Thank you.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. It's more about consistency and not the speed. Yeah, exactly. I think that needs to be on a t-shirt. What about you, Veronica?
Thank you, Sasha. So to add on Olufemi's point, many companies out here generate data every day, yeah? And the more reason why you need to get the skill of programming with Python especially is for you to be able to analyze this data with Python, because it handles big data as opposed to other statistical packages that have been existing. So with that, you're able to not only handle structured data. Structured data is like tabular data. You can handle unstructured data. This is if you have data on PDF, yeah. If you have print media, if you have images, yeah. You've had Victor say he has won several competitions on Zindi. So these are one of the courses that when you do, you're going not only to get employed, but you're going to compete, yeah, and get paid good amount of money. So you will be able to find that in no recent past that data analyst has now become very competitive and a course that many people are looking forward to, because there's a report done by the World Economic Forum in 2020 where it was able to showcase that there's growth in data science field, and that means that by the year 2025 many people are going to get employed. Because you may think, what if I do a career change, for those who want to do career change, or what if I enter into data analysis and then become a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, data engineer? Am I going to be redundant in the near future? The answer is no, because there's lots of data, and people are few who are able to just get their hands dirty and get insights from this data. So data science is a very marketable field, and the first place to start from is by just doing data analysis. And of course, with programming knowledge, you'll be good to go. Sasha.
Okay. And Emmy, could you respond to this question from a global perspective? Because I know you get to interact with a lot of clients, a lot of companies that are looking for this talent. Excuse me. So yeah, please, Emmy.
I think the way that we know that data science is marketable is by the salary expectations. That if we remove doctors and remove lawyers and remove like I don't know, business seniors, data science comes second to software development. And then we get way down at the bottom, we get teaching, we get graphic designers. And that's really impressive. I think the reason African data scientists are struggling, I don't want to say struggling, it's hard to find a data science job, is the African market is immature. When dealing with clients at Zindi, we rank them on maturity. Are they data immature to data mature? A data mature client would be maybe a client to the bank that when we get into a meeting, we immediately start talking about train, test, resources, inference period. And we can throw out these crazy words and they just understand. A data immature client, we would need to explain. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to plot your data. And I think we're dealing with very excited but data immature companies. I think everyone who's getting into data science at the moment, I think you might be before the curve, which is a good place to be in. In 5 years or so, we're going to see a lot more companies getting more data mature and then needing data scientists. I think we are all going to struggle as data scientists to find our job, but in 5 years' time, there's going to be more jobs than people. You can also use the argument that, well, the West, Europe and America have already built everything. Africa can just go and copy paste. And I saw a brilliant image that I'm going to, Sasha, another thing for you to print on a t-shirt is, the question was like, how would an American self-driving car work in Africa? And it was one of those pictures of, it was inside a city and there was a cow coming towards you and there was like a scooter falling over. And I was like, yes, like self-driving cars would not work. An American self-driving car would not work in Africa. So we need to reinvent everything for Africa and give it an African flair.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. So I do agree. I believe there are quite, there is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of potential in the data science field. So I don't want to add anything or remove anything from what our panelists have said. It's yours to take, guys. So right now, if you have questions for panelists, please leave them on the chat box, or we have I believe people have been using Zoom since 2020, right? It was the blessing in disguise from COVID. So there are these reactions that you can use on Zoom, like a raised hand. So if you have any questions, please do that right now so that I can see them, and then I'll unmute you and we can, pose our questions to our panelists. So because you're coming close to the end of this discussion. So before we close, I'll just bring you back, Amy, and just ask around, like, what are those mistakes that you've seen in junior data scientists that you would advise the people who are on here today not to make, right? So let's say in their growth curve, in their growth journey, or just the moment they've started working for, let's say, one of your clients, what are those mistakes that you've seen, and what would you tell our people here today to avoid?
It all relies on interpersonal skills and soft skills. You can stay up all night and all weekend doing the technical stuff. The technical stuff is hard, but it's also easy because there's a right and a wrong. The difficult part would be interpersonal skills, being brave enough to ask it's your first week in the job, you've just been asked, can you please code review this? And you're busy code reviewing it and there's a problem. You need to be brave enough to go to your senior and say, I think there's a problem, I need help. As someone who's worked in industry, I would much rather prefer it if someone asks for help before breaking it. Breaking things is part of the learning journey, but maybe ask for help first. I often make decisions in interviews based on just who the person is. And I understand that some people are very shy, some people may have a stutter. That's okay. What I'm interested in is, can you make a joke? Or can I see that we're going to get on in the next 6 months? So biggest mistake you can make is not asking enough questions. Another big mistake you can make is not trusting the people around you. The people around you have been in your shoes. They know what it's like. And then something that I've learned is a work-life balance. It's not something that you'll make a mistake now, but when I started, I thought I needed to work 80-hour weeks to prove my worth. And I'm realizing that's not good for me as a person. So figure out what's good for you. Sasha, I see some questions going through, but I'm going to let you direct them to people.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Amy. That's very solid advice. It's very important to have both your soft skills, your interpersonal skills, and technical skills in check. Yeah. You might be the best data engineer out there, but if you can't work in a team, you can't ask for help, you can't present the solutions you're working on, then I think it might be detrimental to how good you are. So it's good to have a balance of both. And that's something that we really emphasize on here at Moringa. We train on both the professional skills, interpersonal skills, and technical skills. So I can see questions from Roy and Philip. I'll just hand it to Roy first because he raised his hand first. Please ask your question.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the session. Mine is, let me say, a bit unorthodox, but anyway, you're the experts. So recently in my organization, it started trying to be more, let me say, data centric, and they appointed a few of us, me included, to be part of the let me say founding data team. At that point, I had, let me say, basic computer knowledge because I came from a BIT background, basically business information systems. So kind of technical, but not fully technical. And they just gave us a subscription to DataCamp as of that time. Now, upon learning, I also enrolled to other additional boot camps online. One of the challenges I came across was by the time I got done, which is, I think, I'm actually winding up some of those boot camps. I tried to get my hands dirty with actual work. So I have the technical know-how to do the job. But immediately let me say, approached the IT team to create that warehouse, rather the data warehouse, so that I can begin work. I just came to realize that even the way the data is structured in the DB, or rather in the database, is very, let me say, technical, even beyond what typical boot camps show. So I don't know if this is a problem that many organizations face, and what will be the best way to go about it. Does it mean that I have to go back again and start learning a bit of data engineering? Because I know how to do the analytics, but I couldn't get the data of the warehouse. And I don't know, what advice would you give? And even does Moringa in itself, in its course, give that kind of knowledge? Because I came to realize when it comes to hands-on, things can be very different.
Okay. Veronica?
Yeah. Thank you, Roy, for your question. And for sure, that is one of the main challenges, among others, that most organizations face. Because you find, of course, not reference to yours in particular, but if an organization is a startup, they tend to have everything into one person to do a role for a data engineer, a data analyst, a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, you know. So the good thing is, as a data analyst, one thing, at least for you, you are able to realize that the way the format of data structured in the database is different. And for that reason also, for you to be able to interact with the database, you need SQL knowledge. Some people refer to it as SQL, which the data engineer will be able to handle that better. So the good thing is, in Moringa, not only do we have data analysis or data visualization with Python program, we have other programs that will be able to expose you to that. So when you undertake data visualization with Python and then enroll in data science, the data science program in Moringa, what it is well structured in a way that you will not only learn the data wrangling and the machine learning part, you'll be able to get exposed to how to handle data with SQL. So you'll also learn data collection, data scraping from different platforms. You'll be able to learn how to build the data pipeline. And so some of the challenges you're facing with your colleagues will be a thing of the past. Because the difference when you enroll in boot camps is, and other source of learning, you find that the boot camps, what they do, they just give you access to the content, but you don't have a technical person to guide you through, right? So that's where we come in. In Moringa, what we do, we give you the content, and also we have sessions, live sessions, and also we have the support, yeah? Anytime someone has challenges, questions, they reach out, and we're also able to guide through. So, yeah, Victor, not Victor, but Roy, do you have another question?
Yeah, just one more. At Moringa, because honestly, I've done enough of data analytics and visualizations. Can someone just skip to the data science course?
Yes.
I don't really think per se I will need the analytics one for now.
Yeah, that's right. Sasha will be able to give more details on that, because that has been happening. And the more reason now we are trying to bring in the data visualization is just to help people who want to transition, because it becomes easier that way. So for you, you'll be able to go straight to data science, but more information will be provided by Sasha.
One more thing, forgive me.
Yes, just one last question.
Yeah. I saw you said MasterCard scholarships. I've reviewed recently the offering at Moringa. Is there like sort of scholarships I can also apply to?
Okay, I'll take that and then give other people a chance. So right now, MasterCard has funded this data visualization with Python course, which we're about to just take you guys through right now, very briefly. So we are offering it at a highly discounted price. Then for our main data science program, the one now you, Roy, would be eligible for because you already have a background in it. For that, we do offer like seasonal discounts and scholarship, but right now, I'll just send you an email after this so that you can get the steps on how to go about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So Philip was next. Philip, please. I'll just take 2 more questions and then we can continue. So Philip.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Thank you to the organizers and the panelists for these sessions. It has been a nice one. I've enjoyed it. I have maybe 2 questions. Okay, first of all is I'm 1.5 months into learning data science, and the people around me are mostly software developers. So currently I don't have someone who can guide me. So learning from YouTube, most of the content there is unstructured. You are randomly moving from one side to the other. So I was requesting if there can be somebody who can share maybe a resource of the structure, or maybe a book or a roadmap of how to go about it. These are the topics you should cover. These are, yeah. And then secondly is I've learned up to maybe the analyst. The next phase I was to do maybe the model building in machine learning, starting to understand those algorithms and here and there. So before going, I thought it was better if I can get my hands dirty with some practical work, or maybe start building my portfolio. Where can I get a proper data set that it will, when I work on it, it will be useful maybe in the job market? And lastly, you have been mentioning about data science, data analytics, and ML. And I believe it's Veronica, if I'm not wrong, said of when you are self-learning, you don't know where data science starts, the data analytics start, or maybe ML. But my major question is, where does data science end and machine learning start in that sense of, yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll take the first 2 questions. So the first one, you've asked for like a guide on how you can go about it. So our programs, of course, I will advocate for Moringa first. Okay. So we do have a well planned out roadmap for your learning, right? So for instance, with the data visualization with Python course, that's very beginner friendly. First, you start learning Python programming for data science. Then we get into, basics of like statistics, data visualization, the tools, the data sets that you'll engage in. So we do have access to large data sets, right? From like business cases, real world problems. That's all available at Moringa. And I know like with data sets and like building, working on your projects and all that, you can do that when you enroll for our course. But Zindi also has, Zindi can also give you access to a number of like projects and data sets that you can work on. So for the third question, I'll just hand it to Veronica. Where does data science stop? Where does machine learning start? Very quickly, maybe you can answer that so that we can take 2 more questions.
Okay. So Philip, the answer to your question is that data science is more of, okay, how do I put the best way to put that? Okay, so let me put it this way. Data science encompasses many things, right? and part of it is machine learning. All right, so you'll be able to use different algorithms to do your prediction, that is machine learning. And if you just want to be a machine learning engineer, then you will not need to know some things like data visualizations, okay? So if you want more information on that, Philip, I'll put my contact on the chat so that you could be able to reach out. But just know that machine learning entails, data science also entails machine learning. Like data science is the broader field, yeah? And machine learning just focuses on doing the predictions with different algorithms. Philip, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yeah, I am satisfied.
All right. Thank you so much, Philip. So we have a question from Tawanda Musaba. I'll direct this to Victor. So how do you go about getting the ability to understand the business? He says that my greatest challenge is I have great technical knowledge, but I think in interviews, I fail on the business side of things or the ability to think beyond the technology stack.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, or from the perspective I would like to, answer this question is that, the truth of the business world is that value, growth, and profit. Those are what the company is interested in. Those are things that drive engagements in every organization that we have, right? So that means if you are not providing value, if you are not providing if you are not generating value for revenue for the company, or what you are doing is not growing the company in a business sense, or in profitability, right? It means the company can't really engage you. Now, so I would say first, foremost, and more importantly, is for you to understand the business, right? As a data person, a data scientist, a data analyst, you have to have a clear understanding of the business, right? Because if you don't have a clear understanding of the business, you're unable to build products that will drive value for that business, right? So how do you go about understanding the business? It's very simple. Speak with, if you are, for instance, a new person, you can always speak with folks that probably in the product team, folks that are in the customer support team, folks that are in the marketing team, folks that are not really into much technicalities, right? Engage them from time to time, right? And that's how you get, a broad sense, right, of some of the value, right, of the business. And, one thing that data scientists also, find very, profiting, right, while they engage is their interaction with these people, right? Because you personally, you have the technical know-how, right? You have the skills, SQL, Python, how to use Tableau, you should have the skills, right? But having that, other insight, right, of, what exactly are we trying to, drive? Is it customer success, right? Is it profitability? Are we trying to sell? Trying to gain customers, right? So you have to have a broad sense of what the business strategy and the business growth actually entails, right? And you can always get these things, right, from those that are, in the non-technical background, or even folks in the company where you work, right, that have an insight, right? So I would enjoin you to, speak with people, especially if, you are just new in the company and you are still trying to understand. Speak with people, try to understand what the business entails, how you can drive value for the business, and try to understand the KPIs, which of course is more important to the business.
Awesome. Amy, I've seen you've asked Philip, I don't know if his first name is Philip, but I can see you were asking him if he has examples of questions that he got during an interview. So maybe from your experience with running interviews, what advice would you give him or everyone here to merge both the technical and the business side of things as a data scientist?
And make sure that you research the company that you're going to interview for, and make sure that you prepare a couple of questions to ask them. If you are going to, like, interviewing for a bank or financial services company, see if you've got any friends, or go and find people on LinkedIn and ask if you can have a half-an-hour call just to understand more about the industry. We are currently at Zindi, we're working with a bank, quite a large bank, and I have no banking experience. But thankfully, someone on my team does have banking experience, so I set up a half-an-hour call with them to make sure that I understood the terminology before going into a call with this big, scary client. If they throw a completely wild question at you, how would you get more people to pay off their debts if you're going to work at a bank? And you can be like, that's just overwhelming. You can fire back with questions such as, which users are we talking about? Are we talking about high-paying clients or low-paying clients? What percentage are we looking at? So you don't have to have an answer to, I know how to get people to pay off their debts. You can just show critical thinking by breaking down the problem and asking questions that will get you to understand the problem. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So last question from April. April, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm very excited to be part. This is my second Moringa class on data science, and it's been really insightful and all. So I just started my data science career, sort of switching into trying to get like education on it, on different courses and stuff like that. I'm actually focusing on data analytics. I just wanted to know what is the best programming tool to learn, because right now I'm about to start learning R. But a lot of people are talking about Pythons, and what is the difference between tools like Power BI, R, Python to a data analyst? That's my question.
Okay, I'll throw that to Veronica.
Okay, thank you, April, for your question. So to start with the last portion of the question, what's the difference between Power BI? So Power BI, I'll add to that and also say Tableau. So Power BI and Tableau do the same thing. And what they do, they only create dashboards. They only create visualizations. So you'll be able to load the data into Power BI. Okay, so you'll be able to load the clean data and just create your dashboards. And when you have now Python, okay, so when you have Python programming language, what it helps you is, it helps you to collect data. It helps you to clean that data using Python. And also you're able to do visualizations and just understand or get insights from the data that you're having. So you had also another question that what are the skills or programming languages that someone would need to be a data analyst? So there's a difference in being a data analyst and a business intelligence person. So for a business intelligence, what they need is they either need a Power BI, Tableau, and to add R on it. But if you want to be a data analyst, you need to know Python and SQL, because as a data analyst, in most cases, you'll have to interact with the dashboards and you have to get data. You have to query data from the dashboard. So you'll need SQL as a language and Python. Yeah. April, are you satisfied? Mic check, April. Okay.
April, maybe you can, yeah, all right, thank you. Thank you so much, Veronica, for that sufficient answer. So at this point, I think we'll end our panel discussion there. And I will request our panelists to share their contact details, either their LinkedIn profiles or their work emails if they're comfortable with that, so that we are able to continue engaging them. I know they're very open to mentoring and guiding you. If at all you'd like to get that kind of support on how you can go about these things. If you want to enroll to Moringa, I'm so sure Veronica can help you. I can help you. If you wanna, just kind of like figure out how to move from like the learning phase to the career stage, I'm sure that Amy and Victor will also be able to guide you on like where to start, which schools to join, which resources, and just how to prepare for this transition into data science. So thank you so much to our panelists for sharing your insights, for giving advice, all the tips that you've shared today. I know they're very valuable and people will appreciate. So we've not come to the end of our webinar today. I just wanted to appreciate the panelists. You can also do that on the chat box. Say a word or two to our panelists, maybe a thank you note, what you've learned from them. And yeah, if you'd like them to come back again on another maybe more technical topic on data science, I know we can organize for that and plan another webinar. So thank you so much to our panelists. At this point, I'd like us to move to the next segment. You've heard us talk about these data science programs. You've heard us talk about this specific course, data visualization with Python. And I think April, your question was really good because it's ushering us into the next segment. So we do have a course that we have introduced at Moringa. It's we have a bigger and more general data science course, but this is very specific, very short, and very beginner friendly for anyone who wants to get into this field. So I'll just hand it over to Veronica very briefly to give us an overview of what that course entails, what you can expect to learn, and how to sign up for it. So Veronica, please take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Sasha, for that session. So the slides, as that is being done. So the thing is, we've already discussed a lot about data science, about the data analysis, and one of the main things that we want to bring to you as Moringa. Sasha, if you could help with the slides. Yes, so what we want to bring to you is the data visualization course with Python. So with this course, what essentially is happening is that you are going to learn how to be able to get insights from the data. And you find that in most cases, the data you are working with is in table format, yeah, which you have to load in maybe SPSS or other platforms. But the difference now when you have the Python skill is that you will be able to get data that is in PDF format, CSV format. We have other file formats called FTF, and we have computers vision where we have images. So you'll be able to load this data using Python, and you don't have to worry about which coding platform I'm going to use, because they're going to bring to you an open source platform where you'll be able to just get it from Google Colab. It's free, and with that you'll be able to load your data there. The thing is with data visualization with Python is you don't have to download that data into your machine, because you find the importance of having Python is you're going to handle big data. Yeah. In most cases, if you have data in Excel, that is very few lines of data entry. But if you have to do with big data and then you load it into your machine, it's going to crash. Yeah. So, and that is if you're not having a database where you have to save it in a database. So you have to load it into your machine, it's going to crash. So the important thing is with Python, you're going to load just a few lines of code, have a preview of the data, understand the data, because I saw a question on the chat that how am I going to be able to get insights from the data because I have the technical skills, but I don't know the insights. So an example will be if, for instance, you trying to understand the hypothyroidism or the thyroid cases, for instance, you have to know what are the normal ranges for someone who is considered healthy in that they don't have thyroid. Or let me go to the basic one where we have all encountered was the COVID-19, for instance, yeah? So for COVID-19, we had to know at what degrees will I be determined to having COVID or not, yeah? So there are some features that you have to put in mind and consider them to be the determinant of what will make you know that these people, if you're doing any predictions or visualizations, that this category of people have COVID because their temperature was high or their temperature was low. So for that reason, this number were not categorized as COVID patients. So I just want to give that brief introduction on data visualization. One thing is it handles big data that is structured, tabular format or in table format, and structured, that is, you could have tweets, you know, you could have get data in tweet formats or sentences. So that is also another way you could be able to visualize your data. And also the other way is semi-structured. So with Python as a language, you're able to handle all sorts of data and big data also, which are complex in nature and difficult to handle with the other common platforms that are available. Back to you, Sasha.
All right, thank you so much, Veronica. So that's what you can anticipate to learn when you sign up for this course. Just to echo what our panelists were saying earlier, right? By the year 2025, and that's like 3 years from now, 3 to 5 years, the data field is really growing. So it's very vital if we can get more talent, African talent, to come up with solutions for our African problems. Wouldn't that be nice, right? So there is a lot of potential in this field, and we highly, highly, highly encourage people to learn, dedicate time. Remember, they said it's more about consistency than the speed. So dedicate time to learn this course, to learn these skills rather, and we can set ourselves up for a lot of success right here in Africa. So I don't want to repeat what Veronica just said, but I'll just give you guys a very short preview of what you can expect to learn when you sign up for this course. So the program is 12 weeks long, and it's available on part-time basis. It's going to be delivered online, evening classes. So if right now, let's say you still have school, you have work that you're committed to, it is possible for you to sign up for this course and learn. So by the end of the 12 weeks training, you will have learned Python programming, because we'll teach you this from scratch, right? You'll be able to implement the data visualization techniques, right? I remember April mentioned tools like Power BI and Tableau. So those are some of the tools that you will learn and skills that you will get in this course. You'll get to engage with various libraries and other technical tools around data visualization. So by the end of it, you'll also be able to present, do very business-centric, very nice presentations out of your data by creating different kind of charts and plots and all that. This is why it's very important for you to also have some knowledge in maths. I know during maybe your lessons in primary or high school, you have come across pie charts, bar graphs, histograms, and the likes. So those things actually, this is that career where you apply that knowledge. So it's good to have the know-how. So for anyone who, and you'll also be able to create interactive dashboards, right? So I don't know if you guys, maybe you're in organizations right now, but right here at Moringa, we are also morphing into becoming a very data-centric organization. I mean, we can't teach these things and we are not living it, right? So we do have different teams are kind of like some under that obligation to come up with like interactive dashboards so that you're able to interpret data and make decisions from them, right? So let's say you're in the finance department, right? You need to tell like how much revenue is coming in, what are the profits and all that stuff, where are the gaps, how much do we need to make more, right? And if that was presented in an Excel sheet, it will be very hard, right, to consume all that data. So that's where like interactive dashboards and all these data visualization techniques you're talking about come in. So it's a very important skill to have, no matter the field you're in, whether you're in health, you're in finance, you're in banking, you're in agriculture, right? Data science skills do apply. So for you to sign up for this course, you need to have very basic mathematical skills, computer skills, like you're able to operate a laptop, because you will be learning online and you will be learning on a computer. Then we mainly deliver our lessons in English. So it's also very good to have be proficient in speaking in English and both written, because you'll be working on projects and presentations. Then we don't provide laptops at Moringa, so it's very important for you to have a computer or a laptop with those specifications for you to have a very smooth and sailing time while you're taking up this course. Then, I think this came from Victor, right? That willingness to learn, it's very important in any field, no matter the stage you're in, right? That's how you differentiate one successful person from another, right? So you need to have that desire, the curiosity and willingness to learn. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you've never written Hello World, any piece of code before. With this course, we'll teach you right from scratch. That first line of code of Hello World in Python programming, you can expect that when you sign up and start learning from November. All right, so I believe my colleagues have been sharing the links on the chat box. So right now, Rosemary, I'll just ask you to share the link again. So how do you apply? You just go to our website. She's sharing the link. It's a very simple process. Once you've gotten to our website, just click the Apply Now button. We'll ask you a couple of questions just to get to know you, your, who you are, your name, your age, and things like that, why you're interested in learning data visualization with Python. Then after that, our admissions lead will get in touch with you with the next steps on your availability for the November 14th, because that's when the classes will begin, to make sure you have all the requirements for you to join the program and just support you on how you can make payment, right? So the course goes for, right now, it's at a discounted price. Originally, it was $350, but now you can get to learn this course just at $300, right? You can pay for this if you're interested. Right now, we are sharing the link. So just go to the website, apply, and make a payment to show your commitment to starting the classes. And our admissions lead is available to support you or guide you throughout this entire process. So don't feel lost or confused on how do I go about this and all that. We have a lot of help and a lot of support here at Moringa. All right, so I hope to see you guys joining the class. It's very fun. There's a lot of potential and career prospects for you once you finish this course. So I hope you guys will sign up and join. At this point, let me just stop so that I can welcome our growth project manager, Enoch, just briefly to give us, his 2 cents from this webinar. What has he picked up and what is his parting shot, even as we come to the close of this webinar. So Enoch, you're welcome.
Hi, Sasha. Confirm if you can hear me clearly. I know there's a little noise in the background. There's construction going on next door. Everyone on the call, in fact, if you are on this call and you stayed up to this point, it's one thing that is very clear. You are interested in taking advantage of an opportunity to position yourself better. And you've had the opportunity to speak to very incredible minds, you know, right from Sasha up onto our very amiable guests, you know, and our talent technical mentors as well. One thing I can let you know for a fact, you know, that I can tell you, and I know the reality is different for different countries, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Rwanda, Kenya. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is this. One, whatever the background you currently have, the skill set is valuable there because data has been generated in the space you are. So if you're in research, if you're the type of person, you know, okay, I'm going to advance later on, I'm going to go up, I'm going to travel out for schooling, and you probably want to have your master's and you're going to do some research. Analytical skill set is super important for you to be able to walk through the data with which you would be working on. And this I experienced from one of the students, you know, that was coached, who typically had, the skill set he had was in Excel. And then when he completed his Python data analytics with Python, he was able to accelerate through his analytical jobs or projects, right, tasks rather, you know, quicker and easier. Second thing I can also let you know, like I said, is depending on the industry, the value is of demand, because everyone wants to have that one person who knows how to ensure we're making more money or we're staying afloat. It's just that simple. So from traditional institutions like the banks, finance, if you're working as an accountant, you want to be able to do auditing a lot better, you know, as against taking out samples. You want to be able to perform audits on the entire data set. You want to be able to, or if you're in the tech space, social media, or in marketing, in healthcare, you know, whatever field you find yourself, you can explore the analytical skill set. The main advantage it gives you is continuous relevance. No matter where you go, no matter whose presence you're in, you're able to communicate in relevance. The final value that you get is if you eventually decide to migrate abroad. This is one skill set that ensures that you do not have to start again. Right, so if the same way you're looking at someone who's probably had an apex, you know, a career in banking, and then maybe you did it in Ghana or Nigeria. If you're traveling abroad, you might have to start differently because the market is entirely different. But if you have an analytical skill set, you're just knowing that what you are needing to adjust to is understanding the data according to the industry you've built expertise in, but the tools are the same. You can just explore yourself and apply for opportunities there. So have this at the back of your mind as relevant value that you can begin to explore, even as you are right now. But just as you have said, the value is endless, you know, because of the possibilities that will come. More tools will grow. See, you'll create more tools. That one is for sure. More platforms will be created that will make analytics easier. But the mindset that you have, one who is problem solving, one who is creating new products, one who is advancing the course of the business or the organization or whatever it is, you can't give that away. So I'm just going to, you know, just say, hey, the best time to do right now is just get started right away and position yourself for opportunities that are to come. I'll popcorn it back to Sasha, and I look forward to seeing you all, those who are going to join the program, at the first day in class. All right, guys, have an amazing weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Enoch. Always awesome to hear from you. So we've come to the end of our webinar. For everyone who has stayed up to this point, I know we started at a really high number, but maybe due to internet or power issues, people have dropped off. But I want to appreciate you and applaud you for staying up to this point. So here is our contact information at Moringa. If you'd like any support, any follow-up after this webinar, we are available on WhatsApp. You can use that number, send a WhatsApp, immediately Rosemary will get back to you, or leave an email at internationaladmissions@moringaschool.com, and we'll be able to get in touch with you and see how best we can assist you, right? So for all our programs, feel free to visit our website at www.moringaschool.com and review all the programs that we have on offer and apply. Get this knowledge, get these skills, get this training, and set yourself up for success, right? And position yourself right for the future of tech, for the future of Africa. Yeah, if I can say that. Right. So I'll stop there, and once again, thank our panelists for making time today and sharing their knowledge and insights with all of us. I appreciate my team for all the support in making this webinar possible. I look forward to seeing you guys engaging with us in more online events, on email, and even signing up and joining the classes. So thank you so much, and I wish you guys an amazing weekend. I was your host, Sasha Chen. It's been a pleasure. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Bye.